Good morning, people. This is Rafael from Visions of Rafael, and as you can see on the title and on the thumbnail, today is the first day that I'm going to the gender clinic, and I just woke up. Normally I wake up a lot, a lot later than this, but it's not that late, I guess, but it's like 8 a.m. And for me, that's really, really early. I'm going to try and be honest with you as the process goes on, and I'm gonna try to share with you as much as I can, but I also wanna embody the first day because I've been waiting for this for quite some time. Well, I'll give you more information. But so basically, first off, I thought I would have to wait for at least like maybe two more years, like, yeah. But I called the hospital that it's at, and when I was 14 or 15, I was already in care there. So I called, and they were like, "Oh, you've been here before," and I was like, "Yeah, I have." And then they said, "Oh, but then it's like, I don't know the word for it, but like, because you're coming back, it's different circumstances. Like, instead of like you're first coming in, if you're coming back, it's different." So she said like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna have to see." And then suddenly I got like, I saw that an appointment had been made with me, and that is today in 2 hours. So that's extremely exciting. And I mean, still on their part, it's amazing because I get to go 2 years earlier, but I've already waited a year. So at the same time, it's also a little icky that I could have already started a year ago if they paid better attention to who signs onto their system. But in any case, I'm just grateful that I get to go, and everything in divine timing. I feel like the timing is just right. So yeah, so follow me along, and I'll keep you posted. First things first, of course, I need to get myself some breakfast and something to drink. I woke up today, like I had a weird dream, and like and I woke up with a lot of anxiety. Then today I feel kind of interesting, but yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm also gonna decide if I'm gonna go by bus or if I'm gonna go by bike to the city, and then from there I have to take a train. So yeah, and the bus costs more money, but the bike is a little more effort, and I kind of low-key feel like wearing a skirt. And something that I did want to say already is something that did come up in my mind is if it's important the way that I dress, like, because if for the last couple of weeks, I haven't really been feeling very, like, I've been feeling just very chill, and I've really been enjoying like the bare face of makeup and just like a little bit easier outfits and stuff. But now today I'm thinking like, oh, should I be wearing like, should I wear some makeup today and maybe put my hair in a bun and wear a skirt so that I look more feminine presenting, so that they will probably take me more serious. But I don't know if this is rational thinking, but out of experience, like with these gender clinics, they can be a little rough, but I'll keep you updated, because that is kind of what this video is about. I'm trying to not per se educate, but like give insight into, so because I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I've gone once before and I didn't have the best experience, but it's for what I know, they work in a very binary way. So either you're male and you stay with all body parts and you don't go on hormones and stuff, or you're a woman and you want to go through the entire transition and you present as a woman and that type of stuff. Like but that was back then, and the certain person that I was with, and it wasn't like really bad, but I just noticed that with my like I do have like parts of like a bit more of a non-binary gender fluid identity, but I still identify as a woman, and I still want to go through transition and to be more in touch with my body. And as it turns out, it's not as binary as it used to be. They did evolve as society evolved as well, I guess. So yeah, so I'm gonna think about that. I do actually kind of want to wear a skirt as well. But if I'm gonna bike, for example, then I cannot be wearing a skirt today because fucking wearing skirts on a bike is a horrible experience. Okay, imagine the chances of this. I wanted to watch something else, but Disney Plus just kept crashing. So I was like, okay, then I'll watch Succession on HBO Max. I go to HBO Max and then I realized I started Adventure Time again yesterday. So it's like, okay, I'm down for that. Let's watch some Adventure Time. I'm on the fucking gender bend fucking episode. What the hell, man? It wasn't. It was just the intro. That's so extremely peculiar. Why is that happening? Look. What the hell?
It sounded really intense. Maybe a gorilla?
Hello there. I just shaved one eyebrow, and this one's staying on for a little bit moment, just for the concept of it. So basically, it's been some time actually, because I afterwards was planning on when I was home to like respond. My bangs look nice, a little bit straighter than they were before. Yeah, so when I got home, I started gaming with a friend, and I kind of forgot about continuing to film, so we're a little bit further in the future. But I'm going to update you now on what happened. So basically, so I had the appointment, and we talked about different options and different ways of like going about a transition, and basically it was like an intake. So basically we talked about what I wanted and what I needed, and who I am and where I came from, and I guess like what I'm looking for. And we did some measurements. So they saw how tall I was, and in reference to my weight and that type of stuff, and like muscle density or whatever, like all that stuff, to like really see like how healthy you are and all that stuff. And something that was nice is you had the option on the machine, either female or male, and they do press the button, even though we're talking about like physical bodies here, they still press the button that aligns with your identity. So that was actually kind of comforting, and because even though the thing that comes out afterwards is maybe less factual, it's still very caring and very sensitive to the people that they're working with. And for example, I would have been like, okay, I see where it comes from, and of course it would have sucked a little bit and I would have been a little confused, but it would have been fine. But I know that there are other people who legit would have thought that was extremely desensitive or extremely triggering and that type of stuff. So I'm glad that they did that, and very, very nice people. I was in the waiting room for a really long time, but that's because he called for my name, and I wasn't there yet. Well, I was there, but I didn't hear it. I was already like super like conscious and self-conscious, I guess, also like about trying to hear him and making sure that I was able to hear my name, but I still didn't hear it. But then half an hour later he asked for it again, and that was nice. Yeah, the conversation went well, and we talked about all types of stuff, but something that did come up later is when we were talking about body and the kind of treatment that I would like or wouldn't like. So basically we were just going back and forth on different types of ways of treatments that were possible. And for example, something that I'm interested in is taking estrogen, but also taking hormone blockers, so testosterone blockers, to a certain degree, but not completely, because I still want to be able to have certain functionality in my the body parts that I have right now, and if you take complete T blockers, then that goes away basically, or not always. So make sure to do your own research beforehand if you are also trans, especially trans woman, for example, or non-binary or trans femme or whatever. Yeah, and we went back and forth on that, and just to be sure, the options that I will be talking about in a second is basically once I start the treatment. So this is gonna take like a couple of months after psychological evaluations and really making sure that this is the best decision for me. So these are options for once that time comes. This could even be after in a couple of years, and there are many rules set in place so that when you're too young or certain things that you can't go into transition yet, for example. Except for testosterone blockers, those, or like blockers, hormone blockers in general. They do give more options for those. Do your own research. So there were multiple options. One option was that I would, for example, take estrogen, but I wouldn't take testosterone blockers. That was an option that was possible. Something else that was possible is indeed like getting a different type of testosterone blockers, so you would get a little bit of a lower dosage of testosterone blockers, and you would take estrogen at the same time, so that your testosterone would be down a little bit, or at least, because I want it to be numbed out as much as possible for it to still remain the functionality in a way. So I'm going to have to see how that goes. And something that I did notice that I found a little bit concerning is I started talking about I think it's called like penile atrophy or something. Like basically, if you're on testosterone blockers for a long time, eventually your penis can start shrinking, and the skin won't be stretchy enough anymore to maintain an erection, for example. I was talking to him about this, and he was like, I don't think that's he's a doctor, and he was like, I don't think that's true. And I was like, you don't think that's true? What do you mean? Because like it makes sense. Yeah, okay, I'm not even gonna start the conversation, but he was telling me that wasn't something that was real, and if I hadn't done my own research, I would have just believed him, and later on had to suffer with penile atrophy, and just have dealt with the consequences of him being uneducated. So that's a little disappointing. But seeing that I have done my research, and I do know that is a possibility, that is something that I do keep in mind. And just FYI, it's basically like if you don't use it, you lose it. So to make sure that you, because you won't have natural erections anymore, like morning erections and that type of stuff. So you will have to maintain that yourself, and if you want to keep that, of course, you will have to. And also, it does help with if you one day want to have the surgery, that you one day have a vagina. It makes sure that the skin stays stretchy and longer, so that they have more surface, so that they have more to work with, so they can make your vagina deeper. So yeah, but besides that, he was super friendly. He was wearing gay socks, and that was cute, and I like to see that. And very respectful, and instantly he did say that so afterwards you would be sent to a psychologist. So first I had an appointment with somebody who was taking the measurements, and then I went back to the waiting room to actually go to the doctor and to actually have a conversation with the doctor. And but the thing is, after you have the intake, which in the Netherlands, because for me, the reason why I was able to get in so fast, and why things are continuing to speed up more than average, is because it's like I've been here before. I've been to this clinic before. So because I'm going, it's like in the Netherlands it's called hairverwijzing. I don't really know what it's called in English. But basically, so I've been there before, and therefore, because I've been there before, I don't have to be on the waiting list anymore. And I don't exactly know what the logic is of that, but at the same time I do, I guess, but I don't know the actual facts on that, but that's why things are going a little bit faster. But after the intake, which normally takes 3 years.
And for me, like, after I called them and I was like, hello, what's up, blah, blah, and they're like, oh, you've been here before? And I was like, yeah, I have. And they're like, oh, but then you shouldn't be on the waiting list. And I was like, shouldn't be on the waiting list. What are you talking about? And like this basically. Okay, sorry, Sam. So that's basically what happened. And then I indeed got an invite, and that's how things sped up. But
I had, which is another thing that I do have to say, I had been on the waiting list for a year already, because I was just being patient. I was like, okay, I'll just wait my 3 years, and they hadn't called me because they overlooked that I had been there before. So that if I hadn't called, so thank the Lord, if I hadn't called, I would have continued to be on the waiting list, and I wouldn't have been invited. So yeah. So if you've been there before, make sure to call them and let them know. So, but then afterwards, so yeah. After that appointment, they make an appointment with you to actually eventually go to a psychologist. So somebody who specializes in gender stuff. A psychologist who specializes in gender. But the thing is, because I've been there before, I already have the appointment at the end of this month. So I went there like in the beginning of the month, and now I have an appointment at the end of the month. And so that goes extremely fast. But I heard that if that hadn't been the case, I would have to wait probably maybe even half a year longer to have my first appointment with a psychologist. So that already makes the waiting time to actually start your process 3.5 years. And then even once you're there, then they start the process of, okay, what do you actually have? Gender dysphoria? Are we going to be able to, you're going to have to get a diagnosis, and you're going to have to talk about a log and figure out your treatment. And then after you've done that, which probably takes like another half a year, then you can start taking, by the way, I'm from I am from the Netherlands, so this is the Dutch process, and I have read that the Dutch process is a unique process, but I'm not completely sure, because I haven't done the research in other European countries or in other continents. I do know some things about the American system, but the Dutch system is quite different to the American system. That is something that I do know. So yeah, you have to go through a whole like psychology process before you're going to be able to be eligible to start taking hormones and all that stuff. So which is really good in a way. Well, not in a way, it's really good because it does make it that once you do get the hormones, they are almost like at least 99% sure that this is the right journey for you, and that they'll continue going. And this, you're only allowed to take hormones, at least, wait, this might be outdated information, so if you are from the Netherlands and you're curious, please do your own research. But for what it was back in the day when I was going there at that age, I started when I was 14 or 13, and I wasn't allowed. I was already allowed to go on hormone blockers, just so that my testosterone would be blocked, just so that I could have more time to continue thinking about what I needed for my body and what I needed for myself. And then at that time, and before 16, you can't go on testosterone or on estrogen. So you can't actually start transitioning until you're at the age of 16. And because I wasn't of the age yet, I was on hormone blockers for 1.5 years, and eventually I decided, okay, I need to continue thinking about what I identify as and what my journey is going to continue looking like, because I was just noticing this society is just very rough on trans people, and I was feeling extremely insecure with all the transphobic everything, and I wanted to feel as if I was an attractive person, as if people respected me, as if I was somebody to look up to, and I didn't feel like I was getting that when I identified as trans. And that's the complete horrific situation of the society, that I had to make that decision at that time, because I didn't feel confident or loved as a woman. I felt I felt like the only thing that I was labeled as a trans woman, so people only saw me as a kink and that type of stuff, and I couldn't live with that. And so I continued to figure it out, but then years later, but I'm very grateful that I've had that process, because I've done a lot of self-discovery and a lot of different sides of gender, and what is gender, and what does gender mean for me, and what could it mean for other people. Like, it gave me a lot more insights into all that, so I'm quite grateful. But then at the age of 19, I came back to the conclusion, yes, I am transgender. Because every single time, didn't matter what I did, every single time, I just felt back on, I just feel and I long to be a woman. And I feel that I'm a woman. But now I also feel a lot more comfort and confidence in being a trans woman, and I feel like that's good and okay, because there's beauty in me being trans. There's beauty in me having a penis but being a woman. There's power. I have power, and that's something that I didn't see at that age because I wasn't able to yet. And yeah, and so if this is something that you're also thinking about, know that there's beauty. You have beauty. You are powerful, and know that you're so worthy, and you're gonna find so much light and so much love. If it doesn't matter what type of situation you are in. If your family, like, if your family is disrespectful, then your family doesn't mean that much. Your family is your family, but your family is also your fucking family, and they should respect you, and if they don't, then that is an issue. But yeah, that's a different conversation, but just take care of yourself. Okay. So yeah, so I had that appointment, and then afterwards, so the lady was like, at the desk that was gonna make the new appointment for me, she was like, oh, I'm so sorry, it might take a really long time, so we can't do that yet. And I was like, oh, okay, well, and then she's like, okay, well, just let me make sure, because let me get your name. And then I was like, yeah, and then she saw that I was already here before, and then she's like, oh, sorry, then you'll just get a message. And I was like, okay, perfect. And I did get the message. So I have my first psychology appointment soon, so that's really cool. And probably in half a year from now, yeah, I'm gonna go into the psychologically I can't speak today for some reason. I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna go into the process, but the thing is, I'm gonna go into the process a lot different. I already feel really confident in what I feel like, and what I know, and what I am, and what I need as a trans woman, what type of what I need, and I just kind of need her to confirm that all the things that I see and that I know are that I'm gonna be able to do them. And one eyebrow, one not eyebrow, that's so funny. Yeah, so ADHD, I'm completely just I'm confused now. That's okay. Yeah, so I think the process is just gonna go a lot faster because of the new information that I have, the self-knowledge I have. And the thing that I do find kind of hard and kind of stupid is that they assigned me with the same psychologist who treated me all those years ago. And I'm not going to name their name, but I have had not the best experience with them. Like it felt like they were ignorant and naive about trans identity, even though they work in a gender clinic. And they kept pushing this concept upon me that I either had to be that I either completely didn't go into transition, or if I went into transition, that I went all the way through, so that I also had a vagina one day and that type of stuff. So, and because I didn't want a vagina, that I wasn't, like, in a way not trans enough. And that shit made me so insecure back in the day, where I was like, but I do want to keep my penis, and I don't really care for having a vagina. And I felt so much pressure, and then I was like, okay, well, then maybe I'm not transgender. That's pretty fucked up. That's pretty fucked up. For a little child, I said, okay, well, maybe I'm not transgender. And they assigned me with the same person. But maybe that means that I get the chance to set them right and tell them, hey, you kind of fucked up there. You gave me the short end of the stick. And that they're allowed to know about that, because they kind of fucked me over there. But yeah. So, but yeah, so this was my first appointment, and it was very cool, and I'm very proud and happy to know that I'm here, and that I made it, and that I'm alive, and that I can start this process again, and that I'm okay, and that in maybe half a year I'm gonna stop having to worry about suddenly getting new chest hairs and stuff, and I'm gonna have to figure out whether, like, the low dosage of T blockers is gonna be good enough, or if I maybe wanna if I maybe want to go full T block, because I really don't wanna, like, all masculine attributes I really couldn't care less about. Like, I really don't want them, except for I just want my my penis to work. That's the only thing that I do have an issue with. Just TMI. But so yeah, know that a trans woman can indeed want to keep a penis, because a penis is just a body part, and so is a vagina. And this, sorry if you're a conservative motherfucker, but sorry, your body type really doesn't say anything about your spirit and your consciousness. I'm sorry, I hate to tell you, and it doesn't say anything about your expression, so you're just ignorant. But as soon as I am gonna start going to take estrogen, or like as soon as I start the like genuine like transition process, I do want to keep you posted, and I would like to do update videos and letting you know about my process, and especially also because I have like a unique perspective as a trans woman. I'm gonna let you know, and I also kind of would like to give you updates sometimes on hair growth, because I've like really I've really been trying to do multiple types of things to make sure that my hair grows as fast as possible. So okay, so guys, I'm gonna stop the video at this. I hope I teach you something, and I hope that or at least I inspired you or gave you more of a reference. I've not done any research for this video specifically. Everything that I've known is all the things that I've learned and gathered and researched over the years, and a lot of experience and all that stuff. So everything, fact check everything, make sure that you know everything. So one thing about the hormones and the different type of treatments is the thing I noticed, that there was basically nothing online about having like different other ways of having treatment. So for example, not being on testosterone blockers, I didn't know if that was possible, and you can't just look up online for some reason like, is it possible to have testosterone and estrogen at the same time? For some reason Google doesn't say that. So know that it's possible. It is a possibility. So if you are non-binary, or you're a trans woman or trans man, or anything trans, anything whatever, even if you're straight, like, but you notice that you would love to have like either the estrogen or testosterone as well, that is possible. So know that it's not just black and white. There's so many choices, so many things you can do. Your dreams, your vision of who you are as an identity, as an individual, everything is possible. Just know that there are always like certain risks and certain health situations, and to always make sure to consult with a doctor, even if you're self-medicating, to just get in contact with a doctor about it, and sometimes make appointments just so they can check, or at least try and see, because you really just want to make sure that you're safe. Okay, please take care of yourself, because I know how hard it is. I know the waiting times, and I don't know how it's in different countries. I know that you need to have your own possibilities, but please make sure that you're safe. Take care of yourself, because it's risky, and you're gonna regret it if you don't. So take care. I love you, and I'll see you again next time. And know how beautiful you are, and remember to love yourself. Bye.